Hey there, another episode of Kyle High Club. I believe this is my fifth official quote-unquote episode. Um, I guess just a little update. I think it's been about a week and a half since I've done one of these. Last time I did was 2 Saturdays ago. So a lot of stuff has happened between then and now. Seems like something crazy, if you want to call it that, happens just about every day or some stupid story or whatever. But really, day-to-day life and how you interact with it, nothing's really changed too much, but I do have some things I want to talk about. I guess just update on me personally. How my week and life has been going. I was sick for about half of last week, and that put me in a rut physically. I threw up like 10 times during one night over the course of like 5 hours, about every 30 minutes or so. So that was fun. And then like the next 2 days, I was pretty fucking weak and couldn't really move too much, didn't really want to move too much. I couldn't eat anything the whole first or second day. So that and I just recently bought like a weight set, to start actually lifting some decent amount of weight and try to put on, some muscle mass. And then I got sick for just eating way too much and just being a fucking slob, a fucking pig. And just disgusted myself, honestly. And it's all my fault. But that set me back, and I've been pretty weak from that, but just starting to get back into it. Able to hit the bag and stuff. I can lift a little bit, but I'm not back to where I was before I was sick. I felt pretty good before that. But starting to feel stronger again, so there it is. We're just taking it in the daytime. Try not to eat like crap. Just concentrate on trying to eat really things that I just cook myself. Even the stuff we get from the grocery store is not the best, but it's better than going out and getting some fast food or heating up some frozen pizza or frozen chicken wings or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, that's just a little update on me. Just been working in between then. Still doing the stuff. Still here, still alive, still kicking. Taking it day by day. Just living life. So let's just jump into it. So one of the things that I'm very, very interested in just kind of noticing or aware of is how people in today's age think, the internet and social media is life, and that social media and all that is an accurate representation of our day-to-day lives. And, the various news reports or incidents that happen, that we see on social media, or something that somebody says, that might be insensitive or just downright hateful or abusive. A lot of people think that is reality, but it's just not. It's not an accurate representation of reality. And a lot of times I think it is. You look on Twitter, any social media, mainly Twitter, because that's like where news seems to be generated from, and where I would say a lot of people get their news, and it's probably the fastest move is social media, because Instagram is just like pictures. People post pictures of themselves and like, trying to look awesome and shit, trying to get likes. Facebook is just people going on rants and sharing crazy crap and things like that, and for grandmas and stuff. And Twitter is just constant feed of, 240 characters, just nonstop, like forever. You can never read all that information. So people check that shit constantly, wanting to know what's happening in the world at the, at the tips of their fingers and instantaneously. But it's not accurate. A lot of the news stories aren't accurate. I'm not going to point out any in particular. It's just kind of a vague thing. And it's I don't know. I would like more people in it. And when I ever say like I want more people to do X, Y, or Z, it's mainly because I also see it within myself. And while I would like to say most of the time, but I'm going to say probably only some of the time, I'm kind of a slacker, to be honest. I'm working on it, but I slack just doing these stupid podcasts that nobody's listening to. But I would like, and myself included, a lot more people to realize that that's not reality. People don't talk to each other in that way or reply to each other in that way as they do on Twitter. If it was face to face, like if you were walking down the street. I mean, some people do, but you don't just randomly, call an old lady, and tell, flip her the bird or something. That doesn't happen too often. Maybe you get cut off in traffic or something like that. You might flick somebody the bird and yell, fuck you. But, that's probably the height of most of people's conflict within their day-to-day life, at least in this country, and at least in urban or more populous areas of the country, like cities or towns. Not so much in rural areas, because not too much traffic, so you have to worry about people cutting you off. But yeah, I just thought about that, and because I wanted to look at it myself, and there's 325 million people in this country, at least documented Americans, and that's a lot of people. And then I looked it up, and there's about only 47 million U.S. citizens that are on Twitter, or 47 million accounts for Twitter linked to people. Who knows if those accounts are actually pointing to people or if they're bots or an organization. But let's just say, even if they are bots, let's include them. Even if there are organizations, let's include it. Let's just say it's just straight people. 47 million people are on Twitter, individual people. Some people probably have 5-6 accounts. I mean, I know I have 2. I have one for this podcast, one for myself. But if you just look at each account as one person, there's 47 million out of 325 million in the entire country. That's only 14.46% or 14.5%. That's not a high percentage. I mean, it's a decent chunk. That's, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think that's about the percentage of amount of black people that are in the United States, or African Americans. So, I mean, that's a decent chunk, but at the same time, that's not the majority of how, people interact to each other on a daily basis as they do on Twitter. It's just not the same. And I think the main reason I bring that up is because I want people to just first of all recognize that and realize, even though it seems like a lot of dicks on Twitter and social media, like a lot of people take that and interpret as there's a lot of dicks and assholes out there in the world, which is most likely the case. I'd say, yeah, there's a lot, but it's not, it's not even 50%, I think. But the other reason why I bring that up is because Because of, I'd guess, the people that are actually invested in what social media is saying. So, which I get from like a business perspective or like, most especially from a politician's perspective. So, like politicians, especially like a politician like Trump, they look at Twitter now and inform opinions or send out messages through there. And the main reason I bring it up is because I think these higher companies or, just organizations that are looking for how should they situate their business model and their business plan with today's social and moral standards. Like back in the day, it was okay to just test. I don't know if it was okay to just fucking, have human trials on people and do shit on them. I mean, the Nazis did it. But today, that's pretty widely accepted in the entire world that we shouldn't be doing that. But I'm pretty sure people still probably do that. I bet China and Russia probably do some shit like that. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me if the United States did either. It's super covert. But that's neither here or there. But why don't I bring that up? But these larger businesses and I guess especially political campaigns and the large corporations that are funneling hundreds of millions of dollars into these campaigns through super PACs and other charities and shit like that, just offshore accounts and fake business names and this or that. I guess I don't know how they do it. Complete guess. But I think they're looking at social media and they believe that this is the court of public opinion. This is the final say. Whoever is the loudest, demands the most shit, or whatever. That's how it is. So that's how we're gonna model things, or model policy, or our campaign slogans. At least mainly the campaign slogans, just really how they market to us, the people, whether it's marketing for Amazon or buying a new shoe or something like that, or your local mayor who wants to know how people think about, weed legalization or firearms or, whatever. More and more, these people in higher places and essentially everybody, this is me too, like I look at it as well, like that I work in a cubicle, so I don't talk to people too much, which I don't mind because I'm an IT guy. I like working on computers, and I have buddies and stuff I talk to, but for the most part, I just know how me and my friends react with the world, and, the people I hang out with are people that are pretty alike to me. We have similar interests, things like that. And that's how all people are. I have people that are very different from me as well, and I talk to them and communicate with them, but we might not be like, best friends from day one, or they might not be those day one friends, if you know what I mean. But so all people we look to this device in our pocket that's always with us. It's there when we're bored, waiting for a flight or something, or waiting for your food to be made, or whatever you're doing. We look to these apps and these social platforms to see how the rest of the world and people are thinking. See what people are getting upset about. What people are arguing about. What you can and can't call somebody. What you can and can't say to somebody in a certain situation if you're talking about a certain thing. and you have a view on something, or you don't. And whether you're allowed to even talk about it or not. And honestly, I think that's a mistake to be looking at social media as almost a curator for discussion, or I don't know any other way to put it. I guess a conductor of conversation. Like, I don't think it should be their job, or we should look to them for it to be their job to do that. I think we should all recognize it's mainly just a bunch of people. I'd say most of the people I follow don't hide by anonymity, essentially being anonymous. Most people I know have their picture, their face and stuff. But even then, you're not face to face for the most part with the people that you're talking about on Twitter. So there's always a disconnect from what you're trying to communicate. Whether that's good or bad, either you have good or bad intentions. So I don't think we as a people should be looking at it. And then I think because it looks like the main, I guess, political reason why, and I don't really want to talk about politics and be a political person, but it's just interesting how it's interesting how other people talk about it, because I don't really care, because I think at the end of the day, there's nothing, I guess I'm a little pessimistic in that area, but I'm just like, there's nothing I can do about it, so like, whatever. I guess I can vote and stuff, vote and speak up for rights or things that should happen when, they're proposed or whatever. I don't know if any of that works, who knows. That's another discussion, but I'm interested in politics and how other people view it and what they say and what their hardline stances are not, because a lot of people are very, I wouldn't say a lot of people are very close-minded, but there's definitely people out there that, lean one way or another, and they're just on the red team or the blue team because of one issue, or because their mom was, their dad was, or the family was, or where they grew up. It was mainly like that. And I'm more interested really in how politicians, I'm not even going to say campaign, I'm going to say market. All politicians do, besides their job, or at least what their job should be, which is, creating laws that the people want, or legislation or regulation that people want and agree on, enforcing it, and then judging on it. That's really it. That's all we want. But because we have a never-ending, I don't want to blame it on the never-ending re-election cycle. I think it's good to have it's great to have term limits. We shouldn't have a dictator, a life, you shouldn't be allowed to be in government forever, or be in one position forever and just stay there because you just, I don't know too much about it, but because we have essentially term limits, and especially for congressmen or House of Representatives, I think I'm talking about things I don't know, and I brought my laptop. I have my laptop open for this podcast. I was like, sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should look that up, and so I'm like, oh, I'll have Google open and maybe I'll search for things while I talk, but I don't feel like doing that. I think I'll just distract from these tangents I go on and things like that, so I don't know. But essentially, politicians, all they do all year round is market. They're just advanced marketers, you know. Instead of marketing for a marketing firm or an advertising firm or another large firm, like company that has its own advertising branch, like a Google or something like that. I'm sure they do. Or maybe they have consultants do. I don't fucking know. But essentially, all politicians do is market for votes, year after year, or cycle to cycle. And then as soon as they get reelected, they're campaigning for our marketing. And they're not even marketing for our votes. I mean, they're definitely trying to market for our votes, but they're more so marketing to try to get campaign finance, you know, from larger firms so that they can go on PR tours or create, you know, these marketing campaigns and these advertisements and things like that. Like, things not free. It's not free, so most of the time they're just trying to bring in money so they can then take this money and create marketing strategies to get votes to keep them where they are so they continue to get more money. More money, more votes. You stay there and more money and more votes, and, you know, it's just a cycle over and over again. And don't know how to stop that. I'd say get the money out of politics, but good luck. Money runs this world. It runs this country. And barring something, I don't know, barring some great catastrophe or a great technological advance, like what if everyone switches over to Bitcoin? But even then, that thing, that commodity that we use to trade shit back and forth with or buy services with is always going to be pretty valuable to human species, especially in this large of numbers on a global scale. And that's if nothing like crazy happens, like a post-apocalyptic scenario, like a fucking meteor hitting the Earth and changes the atmosphere and it's a desert and, you know, there's no water or anything. But even then, the most valuable commodity would be fucking water. And the people that control the water, they'd live, and then they would start to build settlements, and guess what? They'd be in power after a couple of years. They'd be in power in a year. If shit hits the fan, you just claim a water tower with you and your family. And it's a desert scenario, and somehow you found a way to extract it. Hey man, you're gonna restart civilization. You're gonna be the fucking Kennedys, man. I don't know what I'm saying. But you get what I'm trying to say. I get what I'm trying to say. So if you don't, I'm sorry. But I'm not. But these politicians, and I think mainly Democrats, are gonna be hardcore Democrats, hardcore lefties are going to be in a, I think, world of trouble come 2020 for the next presidential election. Not world of trouble, but the way that they are marketing themselves right now, they're just making themselves look crazy. They're making it look like they're going to a straight socialist platform, and I think that's probably what's going to happen. I know Bernie just announced he's running 2020, and honestly, if they don't rig it against him again, he should win. I don't see, even though he's a sellout too, I mean, you have to be a sellout if you're a politician. You make millions of dollars and own several $1 million homes. It's not a sellout really either. He was just working. You're doing your job, and you make money. You know, if you can make more money, make more. money is not always evil. It's just the root of all evil. But it can be used for good. But just know all evil begins with money. For the most part. Greed. Just basic human survival instinct. That's all it is. Not trying to go hungry. But our brains haven't, and our biology hasn't adapted with how fast we've grown as a species in, a couple generations. We used to be hunting. Just, it was the 1600s, like probably 10 generations ago. If I lived back then, I'd die. I think I'd survive, but I'd die probably. But I'd have hopefully the mental capacity to keep trying. Who knows though? I'm a slacker. But I think, the Democrats might be in trouble come 2020 because, I haven't seen any other presidential candidate that the Democrats have said that would entice anybody, personally to me. I don't know any of their stances. Most people don't. Most people my age don't. But I think Bernie should win the primaries. I don't know who else win. I know a lot of people like this Beto or Rourke guy. But I can already tell he's fake. He seems like a really nice guy. But I can tell he's kind of fake. And he's just saying shit to try to get votes, guys. Saying shit like walls don't work. Walls don't work. What do you mean, man? What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Have you ever studied military strategy? I haven't, but I know. The first, big sort of civilizations broke out because of walls. Probably because of money and resources first, and they were able to come together and build something. But once they could build something, guess what? They built a fucking wall around their shit to protect it. I'm not saying we should build a fucking wall, but just saying that walls don't work. So blatantly, it's just a farce. Walls work in my house pretty good. In my apartment, it blocks off, my living space from the 5 other apartments in here. And although we're living under the same roof, okay, not like we're living in the same building, let's just say that. We're not living together. We have separate existences. I don't know any of them. I passed by some of them, said hi. Most of the time they don't say hi back. I've talked to these girls upstairs. I think they might be lesbians, but I don't know. And they told me their names. I forgot, though. I'm so bad with names. We have to, get to know each other, and then I'll know your name. Or you just have to make an impression, I guess. I don't know. But they're nice. They're cute, kind of. One of them's cute. The other one, man. But to each their own. And they're lesbians, I'm pretty sure, so it doesn't matter. They're like, damn, you ugly because you have a dick. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, I think, and I don't see any other Democrat that's given me any confidence that they'll win a primary election. You know, I just don't, unless they rig it against him again, which I won't put it past him. I don't really know who, I mean, I guess, I'd say maybe Tulsi Gabbard could win. She seemed pretty cool on Rogan's podcast, but then that girl Barry Weiss went on and said she is an Hassan toady, but she didn't even know what the word toady means. I don't know what it means, but essentially that Tulsi Gabbard is behind Assad in Syria, like supports him. I don't know any of that, but so I don't know who people are liking or who will end up beating Bernie in the primaries. I mean, I think they said Joe Biden was going to run, so maybe he'll get some votes, but if so, they're just dividing in so many places, and all the candidates say some dumb shit eventually. I mean, all politicians do. Especially today's age, and before, politicians didn't do, like, speeches. I mean, the president and stuff did, but, like, for the most part, they just stay behind their desk and, like, probably honestly do nothing and collect a paycheck. They're just trying to feed their families. But now they're campaigning, like, right in front of you every day on Twitter and fucking Facebook and shit, and I guess they always put those signs around everywhere. Your local people always do put signs around. That's the only thing I ever knew about politics growing up as a little child. Wow, the signs. And I'd vote people. I couldn't vote, but if I did, I would vote just based on name alone. Like, I remember being in computer class in, like, first grade, and it was, like, when computers were just becoming a thing, like, on a consumer basis, to where, they could have enough in a school for, 25 kids to use at once, and they were old school, desktop thick monitors, kind of like the old thick TVs back in the day, the box TVs, but a desktop monitor for that, and then the thick just desktop CPU as well, like stacked underneath it or on the side. I remember using that, and they were teaching us how to use Google, and they taught us how, if you want to learn about George Washington during the Revolutionary War, don't just search George Washington, because you'll get tons of things about George Washington. You have to be specific, say George Washington War, and then you might get Revolutionary War. Oh, look, this time it was lucky it was the first link. We got something to the Revolutionary War about George Washington. But it could also have been the French and Indian War. He was in a couple wars, who knows? So it's like, type in what the whole word, like as many keywords as you can to be descriptive, and then pretty sure they taught us things like, I didn't remember it until now, honestly. Like using wildcards, to where, you could put a star symbol, which is Shift 8. It's essentially the little star, I guess, that people use on text when you're correcting somebody, when you're being an asshole and correcting how they misspelled something, or even if you do it yourself, so that character. But that's essentially a wild. It could be used as a wild card. I don't know if they use it as Google. I don't even know if that's what they told us, but a wild card, if you don't know, if you're not tech savvy, is essentially if you just take the word technology. If you want to find, somebody use it in SQL. SQL is a database technology, and you can write these things called queries, and it's essentially asking a question to the database. Database stores a bunch of information. You can write queries or questions to see what is in the data, what is there. So if you just search for, I'm not going to get too technical, but if you just search for the word, because I'm just trying to explain wildcards, search for the word technology, or that's the word you want to find, is technology in this database or whatever, a file. Control F and try to find the word technology. You can put, at least in SQL, I know the wildcard is the parenthesis sign. So you can just put TECH and then the parenthesis sign. So then it will search for the word tech, TECH, but then it will search for anything else, including those 4 letters and anything else after that. So it will also find words like technology, which is what you're looking for. It'll also find technical, or tectonics maybe. It depends on what your database has in it, or the file, or the Word document, or whatever you're looking in it. But essentially, a wildcard is a character, and you can also put it before that. So if you wanted to find all the different subjects or majors or disciplines that a university offers within a database, and you could just, this would be probably not the best way to do it, but you could, technically speaking, just query the database asking, find subjects where the wildcard, parentheses, and then ology. So if it's parentheses OLOGY, it'll find anything in there that, it will find any subject where it ends in ology. So we'll find astrology, biology. Are there any more? There's gotta be more. I know there's more, but Kyle High Club, I'm a little high. I think you probably should have heard me take a bong rip earlier. If you didn't, get your ears checked. That's essentially a wild card. And for some reason, I got off on that tangent. But yeah, Bernie will probably win the primaries, and he's going to run on a socialistic platform because the Democrats think that that's what's popular, that's what the kids like, that's what everyone's talking about. Everyone loves AOC. I think most people are like, what are you talking about? But I think I hate to say this, but I really feel like Trump is going to get reelected. I really do. I said that after he first got elected, like the first day after, probably. I think I said that. Probably not, but pretty close to that. And oh man, I don't know. I don't see anybody right now that is going to beat him, and it sucks. It's awful. He's such a clown, man. Literally, he's a clown, man. But the media loves it. The press loves it. And you can tell the people like it because they keep clicking the links, and it's always the most popular fucking thing on the fucking social media. Because you fuckers can't stop clicking. You can't stop. You see Trump, you click. You got a hard on for him. Chill. And I'm talking to you, those that hate him. Mainly those that hate him. I don't like the guy. He seems like a shitty dude. But I don't know him. So I'm not going to shit on him. But you can definitely shit on him all you want. I'll shit on him. For sure. He doesn't seem very smart either. But who knows? Could be playing us. But I was about to say, and I don't really want to. I'm talking to all you guys that fucking hate him. You click on it. You click on those links. Those are the only fucking news stuff that comes out anymore. It's something about Trump, something he did or said. You know why? It's because it's the most clicked on shit, you fucks. Stop clicking on it. It's the only reason why we hate each other. Or why you think we hate each other. We don't. We're all the same. You're allowing one guy, just one guy, to fucking ruin your life, fucking make you sad. It's crazy. And if you fucking fully support him, it's crazy too. You're crazy. But, another thing that's even crazier, this is why I think the Democrats don't stand a chance, because the Republicans are almost kind of doing it. They're propping up AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't know how to say her name, and I apologize if I mispronounce it. But they're propping her up because it makes her look ridiculous to most Americans, Although I like that she's young and she's trying to do new things and she's asking some tough questions. She doesn't always seem like the smartest person in the room, but I think her intentions are good, and at least with most things, I think her intentions are good, and I don't know, she's at least trying, she's at least doing something, but, to most modern day working Americans, if they see these things, I don't know if they see them, it depends, because again, most people don't fucking on Twitter, they probably know who she is from the news, but most people aren't on Twitter, especially the older people, the people that actually do vote. People my age don't vote. It's not real, man. Watched a video where fucking business professors in college showed it to us. It fucking showed us that voting's not real. With fucking numbers and a graph. Like, no matter what the people want, whatever issue it is, it has no outcome on how, if a law gets passed or not. There's no outcome. So no matter who you vote for, it doesn't matter. Because no matter what you want, they're not gonna just let it happen. All these things you want. And one thing they definitely shouldn't let happen is mainly the only reason I brought it AOC is because literally in our Green Deal, it said a Green New Deal, which is great. You got all the keywords there. You got them all. You got green. Oh yeah, let's be green. New. Oh yeah, new. New Deal. Oh fuck, FDR did that. I know that. I fucking learned it in school. It sounded great. There's some great propaganda. It sounded really good to us. I got a lot of people with jobs and things like that, but what happens when those jobs are done and those contracts are over and the government stops paying for them? They have to continue paying and finding new projects? Yeah, probably should. Yeah. Yeah, we already do that. We have tons of government contracts and stuff that are giving people jobs. Maybe it's not jobs like building railroads or, I don't fucking know, but rebuilding highways or things like that. Modern day working man, blue collar jobs. But we're contracting jobs, for physicists and engineers and things like that. So it's not like we're doing nothing. But within this Green New Deal, I love it. Great title. If you don't read it, please don't read it. If you read it, I think you'll become dumber. I don't know. I haven't read any of it, so I don't know. I become dumber every day. It's getting closer to death. Just one day dumber. Dumb and dumber. Just each and every other day. I'm just dying. But within this document, it says that they will offer money to those unwilling to work. Unwilling to work. What does that mean? That's ridiculous. If you're gonna pay, sign me up. That's my first thought. Okay, word. How much money you offering? How much? How much a month? I know a number I got in my head to be like, all right, word. I'll quit my job if you're just gonna pay me to do nothing. Give me $1,000 a month. I'm good. I'll do nothing except pay rent, buy food and marijuana and smoke and play video games. I'll become a professional video game player. And if I don't, I'll fucking die trying. For a fact. That's a fact. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even try that hard though. Because I'd already be getting $1,000 in the bank, son, from doing nothing. I don't have to do shit. That'd be awesome. And then I'll live because I lived in the same apartment for so long and I don't have to move because I'm a professional gamer. I'll probably live in a subsidized apartment. They'll keep my rate flat until I die in it. So that way I can continue to live at the same number. But meanwhile, food and stuff gets more expensive over the years, and they don't really subsidize all apartments. They'll just kick your ass out when you can't pay for it. And maybe I'll make it as a professional gamer. Maybe I'll make it and I'll earn millions and I'll have tons of followers. But maybe I won't. And I'll just die of starvation on the streets because you paid me for nothing. And it's all your fault. Now that's what would happen to most people. And I'd say this is a big if, just go with me for a second. If my life and all of our lives, say, this life that we're living right now, just for a thought experiment, I don't believe this. This is just for statistics and simulations purposes. If our life is a simulation and we are gathering data and we relive this life, 1,000 times, 1,000 different variations, since the day you were born till the day you die, you run into different people in each 1,000 different situations. You might interact with the same people, you might have the same brothers, or maybe your brother didn't get born in one of the simulations, or you have an extra sister, or your dad's gay or something like that, and then that affects you and you become a completely different self. So where was I going with that? Oh, so out of those 1,000 simulations, I think if in every single one of those simulations we implement the unwilling to work policy, we'll pay you, if I had to give a number of how many of the times or that simulation where my life simulation ended out of 1,000 different times ended in me trying to become a professional gamer or just literally doing nothing, paying rent, getting high, playing games, after this policy of unwilling to work to pay to unwilling to work happens, I'd say at least 75%. So 750 instances out of 1,000 of myself would end up that route of literally doing nothing, just playing video games in another dimension and just zoning out and doing nothing with my life. Maybe I'd become a professional gamer, maybe, but I think that's like a 1 in 1,000 sort of shot. I mean, how many people play video games and how many of them make a living off of it? What's the percentage? Is it 1%? Let's just say, for argument's sake, it is. If it's 1%, then okay, that's 10. But I don't even think it's that much, honestly. It's probably 0.1%, which is 1 out of 1,000. But for argument's sake, let's say 10 of those instances I become a pro gamer. Okay. But 750 of them I do nothing and just pretty much die eating myself to death and not moving or ever, living a life, going outside or anything like that. Which I kind of already do. That's why I'm saying this. Like, that's not good. I'd say pretty much at least 75% of the time I'd end up being a fucking loser and hating myself and dying. Even though it'd be awesome and I'd be totally content with it in the moment and day-to-day aspect of it, I'd be set. I'd have everything I need and want, and I like to think, that 25%, and it's probably smaller than that, it's probably the 10%, the 5%, you'd actually become what you should do, I'd get that money, continue to work. That in some scenarios, maybe I continue to work, continue the same job, and I don't mind it, let me have some more money. And I'll just have this on top of that, which would be nice. But then I don't know if I'd have the incentive to work as hard, because I'd always have a safety net. So then maybe I'd quit my job, who knows. And I don't know, try something else. Maybe I try stand-up comedy or something. I don't know what else would you do? Besides, it's either you continue to do the same shit I do now, or you do nothing. Or you try to do more, but you're getting paid for nothing. Why would I do more than what I'm already doing, than what I'm currently doing? I could do less, and I'd still get more. Like, that's just logical. That's just mathematical, logical, in every sense of the word. You'll have no motivation to do anything. And it's just a fact. It sucks you need money to be motivated, and it sucks that some people aren't willing to work. I mean, I don't like going to work. Half the week I'm unwilling to work, but I go. Okay? Sometimes it sucks, but most of the time it doesn't. And it's not bad. And a lot of times I end up liking it. But, it's still work. But it pays the bills, It keeps me fed. It keeps my cat fed. Lets me do this and that. And I don't know, I think if the Democrats are just more and more looking like a socialist party. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Either way, I still don't think my life will change unless they give me $1,000 for nothing. But I also am not like against the idea of a universal basic income. Now, I don't think you should pay people unwilling to work. If you're gonna do that, you might as well pay everybody. But good luck finding that money. Alright, and good luck taxing me. Taxing more people. People get pissed, you take more of their taxes. I'm pissed every year. Why don't I give more back in taxes? I don't know. I'm an accountant. I don't know. Let's see. I got less than 5 minutes left for this recording. One last quick note. If you see politicians, campaign season's coming up. 2020 is coming up soon. It's a year and a half plus. But if you see, what did I write down? Oh, I just said, and you probably already know this, but if you see broad campaign promises or ideals, just know it's horseshit. Just like the slogan, "Make America Great Again." What does that mean? You mean we're not great and we need to be great again? And what do we got to do? Or we need a Green New Deal. All right, cool. What are we doing? What's green? What's new about it? One idea I did have, if we want to start being green, first thing we need to do is we need to shut down the publication of all newspapers, honestly. At least in the U.S. I get so many fucking newspapers. I'm not signed up for any newspaper shit. I get them all the fucking time. It's probably a whole tree dead because I have a newspaper. I didn't sign up for it. It was like past owners that signed up for it for the apartment, and they just continue to come. But I can't cancel it because I'm not them. It just comes anyway. It's like dudes, man. Girls, they're not done. Like, they haven't come yet, but we just come. We just do it anyways. They're like, I'm done.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.